All right, folks, as promised, I have one other video I wanted to take a look for. Welcome back to the Future Strategy Gaming channel. I'm Drew, and this is reaction time. I've never been main game Final Fantasy before, and now I feel like I am. I feel like this is the game I play the most, along with Rocket League and eventually some other games. But right now, Final Fantasy is my game, and I'm loving it because there's a ton of things to do. That being said, I have always, when I played other MMOs, tried to be a part of the high-end, hardcore community. I don't necessarily have the time to do that, so I'm going to call myself semi-hardcore right now. With that being said, Zeppla has put out a video, and it's the top 10 most prestigious things to flex in Final Fantasy XIV. I don't know what these are, and I'm excited to learn, especially from someone who I know she's going to make a lot of terrible puns and bad jokes, and I'm excited for that. But honestly, I want to see if any of these 10 things stand out to me as stuff I want to go ahead and take a look at and potentially try to go grab. So let's see what she has to say.
Hey Buns, today we're going to talk about what are the most impressive things that you can flex with in Final Fantasy XIV. Now,
Hopefully none of this costs money.
Intentionally vague because things can mean anything, really. It could be a mount, could be a gear set, could be a title, just anything that is very, very prestigious and impressive. Something that it's clear just by looking at it that this guy no-lifed the game or got insanely lucky, or there's something else very special or notable about them that you can tell because they have this thing. It can't just be anything that took a long time and not just a rare for the sake of being rare. It's got to be more than that. Something that you look at and go, damn, this guy, like, get a load of this guy. Like,
yeah.
In a good way. Some major factors that I considered when compiling this list include determined effort spent. So you had to kind of work towards it.
Good.
Lasting achievements, not just something that's temporary, that's
right.
cool now, but maybe won't be so cool later. Like, it's always got to be cool.
Sure.
And recognizability, something that the majority of people, I guess people at endgame, players have been playing a little while. They can
who understand the game and its depth.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. That's because that's the thing that gives it prestige.
That's what I want to see.
It is cool. Some examples of things that I left out, and here's why. Something like the Amara. Yeah.
Amara? I thought it was Amaro.
Because it means you have to get all your battle jobs to 80.
To 80.
But for me, I was able to pretty lazily do it.
And
I think that if you just put enough time doing it, it's not.
Made a video saying what I was going to do before Endwalker. If I average the time commitment I have, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to miss out by 2 jobs.
Not very hard at all, so I don't think it meets the standard of super duper impressiveness. Mounts you get from clearing a Savage tier, while impressive when the raid is new, don't retain that high status forever because later on you can unsync those raids. The gear gets better.
It's a Star Wars mount? What the hell is this?
Killing the bosses becomes trivial.
That's badass.
Because of that,
you ride it like that?
Some of the wow factor they had when the raids were new.
I want to know what that is.
You can unsync old trials, making them super easy while
and trivial
for the trial mounts. So while it is cool to get those mounts,
that's a pretty good looking bird.
I think that on unsynced the bosses are pretty much just
it's a pretty good looking bird.
So I think that does disqualify them from making my list of most.
I think she's right in that regard.
For minions, some of them are rare, but I think that the problem with minions is most people don't know which ones are rare. Like, I think that in compiling this list, the notoriety and the general understanding that the thing is rare matters a lot. It can't be overly.
She's smoking a pipe?
Only
what the hell?
Would know that this thing took you a long time.
Looks like a little kid.
The sake of being rare isn't that good because there's a storm out that is actually very rare according to
Narrow's custom mount.
But it's just
that's pretty badass.
Nobody wants to buy it. So
ouch.
Rarity doesn't always equal goodity.
Yeah.
So these things are more like categories because it just makes more sense to do it that way.
Sure.
Yes, this will be all colored
by
opinions, but I would wager that all these things are things that most people would be very impressed by were you to them open.
I forget his name all the time. I just can't pronounce it.
Flex. So these are from
Papa Lemo? Papa Lemo?
The Unending Coil of Bahamut Ultimate, also known as UCOB, and it also gives the Legend title. The blue ones are from the Weapons Refrain Ultimate, also known as Uwu, which gives you the Ultimate Legend title. And the shiny ones with like the time machine stuff and the cogs all over it are So, yeah, some of the cogs are pretty big too. You got some big cogs
What
on
the
some of these.
fuck?
Those are from the FFXIV Ultimate, aka T, which
Okay, so T's been on my radar, and I know that it requires a crazy amount of pulls to get down. 19-minute fight to even clear.
also gives the
I might have to look up what the
perfect
Astro
timing.
one is.
When I first saw these weapons,
Perfect
I thought to
Legend is what she
myself,
said.
I will never be able
She
to
got
get
one.
of these weapons.
Yeah, for her
This
dancers.
is way beyond me. This is a league far
Samurai.
above what
That's
I'm
okay.
used
I
to
don't
being
like
capable
that.
of.
Red
And
Mage is
for me
dope.
to be not correct, sometimes seeing things like this in the
Paladin.
game,
It's
they
not
make
bad.
you
It's just not
strive
my
for
thing.
more. They make you want to be better, and
That's hers.
That's what these ultimate weapons.
That's the
really
dancer
do
ones.
to
Those
me.
are
Having
sweet.
an ultimate
Those are
weapon is
badass.
proof that you are good at the game, or at
Yeah.
least you were
Please
able to
show me
not
the
be bad
Astrologian
for
one.
a full 20 minutes. It's kind of more my situation. The Necromancer title.
Wait.
This would be
All right.
awesome.
I'll look it up after this.
Side note.
Oh, this is
will
Palace
be
to Dead.
The Lone Hero title, though let's be honest, Necromancer sounds way cooler.
Yeah.
These are extremely rare titles that you get from soloing a deep dungeon. Necromancer is
Oh.
from House of the Dead, and Lone Hero is from Heaven on High.
Okay.
What I want to show you that I think will
Necromancer is way cooler.
understand why this is so insane is this clip from Meiji. Now, Meiji is the one that wrote the guide, like the guide.
Oh, he's got a
to
guide,
House of the
okay.
Dead that I will link below. I'll also link to their Twitch below and their
Okay.
YouTube channel. Okay, just for some context, Palace of the Dead.
What is he
clear.
playing?
To do the solo clear, you have to get to the final
Red
floor,
Mage?
which
No,
is
no, no.
200.
That's.
And as you
The
progress
fuck is
through it,
this?
the floors get harder and harder and harder. And here's a clip of what it was
What
like
is he
for one of the
playing?
best Palace of the Dead players in the world to fight one mob.
Vercure? Oh, he's playing Red
on
Mage, yeah.
a very,
I had
very
it
high
right.
floor 192. So you can just look from this clip the level of kiting that is required. They're popping potions constantly.
Oh my god.
Like, you cannot take more than one hit from this thing. This is without steel. So steel is a buff that you can get for yourself, but I mean, a lot of this is about luck. You might not have that buff available.
Right,
You might
right. You might not get it
that
from the
you will
chests.
use to get that buff for yourself, and in that case, you just need to use pure skill,
Yeah.
pure kiting skill to survive
Holy
the
shit.
situation. And if you die, that's it.
This is nuts.
Your run is over. So you have to make it from floor 1 to floor 200 solo
To get the Necromancer title?
to get the Necromancer title in Palace of the Dead.
Whoa,
I actually managed
okay.
to track down somebody on my data center who has both titles and
Heaven on High as well.
not once but 3 different times. It might have been more than that.
3
'cause
times?
I talked to them at the end of June, and he said he was still going for more clears then. So this is Sadie Sassafras on Lich. I was like, why?
Why do
are
a
you
second
going for more
or
clears? Like,
third?
why would you
Yeah.
suffer more?
What would you
already
get? What
have
do you
the
get?
title. And he said that he wanted to get back on the leaderboard for Machinist as his clear got pushed off. So yeah, there are rankings that you can check here.
Tight.
Public for everyone to see. He also said that it's a good time sink and it is fun to go
That's
in
fair.
on other jobs to see how they handle stuff in there. Like, clearly he just
Yeah,
enjoys
that's pretty
the
fair.
content itself. That's
Yeah, he likes it.
keeps him
You
coming
have to
back.
like
He
it
said
to do
compared
that.
to something like Savage, a Deep Dungeon solo.
Hold on, I want to read this. I've done Savage. I'd say it's hard to compare the two because of the time commitment and personal responsibility solo deep dungeons require. The later bosses in Palace can be tough, but like Savage, followed a script rotation so you can research ahead of time to
calls
prepare.
for a massive time commitment, and it's just a huge personal responsibility. There's nobody else in there that can help
Right,
you.
you can't get
Because
saved by
it's
anything.
nice knowing that if I mess up, it's on me. There's
Yeah,
no
totally.
chance of someone else ruining a run. Now, when I talked to Sadie a little while ago, he said that he had a scholar run sitting at 110, but I can already see here from the leaderboards that his scholar run is at 186, which is pretty impressive because
Yeah.
some jobs like scholar are even harder to
Right.
do on this than other jobs.
Yeah.
So he's like added a new level of nightmare mode to something
Crazy.
that's already
A nightmare.
nightmare mode content, like just for the lulz, pretty much. Sadie also suggested that I give a shout out to Angelus Demonos, whose name I actually did hear a week or two ago when I heard that Angelus had soloed Heaven on High on every single job.
Holy shit.
Sadie said that Angelus does streams that are like how to do Palace of the Dead from 1 to 200 that were helpful, and puts his clears up on YouTube as well. So I'll link to all that in the description box. Definitely worth checking out if you're considering soloing. I also asked Sadie if there's anything else that he wanted to suggest to you buns who might be considering this. And he said, do not be disheartened if you die early on in the climb. The first few floors can be bad if you're under leveled in
Okay.
Palace, or if you get ambushed by patrols and have it on high. I never played Machinist before trying out Solo Deep Dungeon, and I managed to get there, so anybody else watching can.
Very
I
cool.
thought that was really crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, he wasn't even like a pro Machinist player. He didn't even play Machinist
Right.
before doing this achievement, so that should be encouraging for
Damn.
me, y'all. Next up, rare PvP loot. So I've kind of put this all in one category because
That
honestly,
steed's tight.
all PvP mounts are rare since
I love and I hate this at the same time. If you stand like that while it moves, it will drive me nuts.
so few people do the content.
Floating is fine,
So I
but
kind of do feel like that is changing lately, but that's a subject for another day. I kind of wanted to focus more
that's pretty
on
cool.
all of the unobtainable PvP mounts that are super rare, like the feast rewards from getting top 100 in the feast in a previous season. Because like once the season rewards are out,
You're done. Yeah.
You can never get those rewards again.
That's
so
a badass
that's
one.
a good reason to go do
That's
the
super
vault.
badass.
Right? Sometimes the reward for feast top 100 is not a mount, but instead really
That's pretty cool.
armor sets.
That last one was cool if it sits 2 people. Because it's a fucking chair.
Sometimes the reward.
So if you can get a second person on there, that's pretty sweet.
Really cool armor sets, which was the case in season
Okay,
18
that's pretty tight.
19. The samurai and my static Makopsi actually have
Whoa.
all the time, like every day. People even DM me on Twitter to ask where he got this
Yeah,
armor because
it's badass.
super
Yeah.
rare. And I'm like, I mean, sorry, that ship has sailed. You should
Yeah.
do Feast season 18 or 19 because
Damn.
now you cannot get it anymore. Best you can do is feast your eyes on it. Modeling these PvP mounts.
I knew it was coming.
Is Rasumi Himawari from Shiva. The
Okay, that
top
one's
mount
tight.
Reflector on my data center, according to FXV Collect. So I don't know how accurate it is, but it's still pretty impressive. I asked Rasumi if they had to no life PvP to get top 100 for these mounts.
I don't think so.
And they actually said, no, it's not even that bad. In most seasons, it takes like 30 to 50 hours of work. If you play like 2 to 3 hours every day, you can spread it out a lot.
Oh,
I should
interesting.
know
Okay.
that season 20 of the Feast is underway right now. So if
Okay.
you want to fight me, I mean, you can.
Bunnies.
I've been doing it. I've been doing it a good bit. It's the first time I've been ranking up in PvP. It's actually been pretty fun.
That looks alright.
But I bring it up because, not to tell you to fight me, but to tell you if you want the soon-to-be rare mount from Season 20, the Dreadnought from ranking in the top 100.
Placeholder shadow, it
That
looks
would
like
be
a
the time to
dreadnought,
do
but
it.
I don't know if it's
You
actually
might
confirmed.
Dreadnought do
That
it.
would be badass.
The Tiger mount. Also the Triceratops mount from doing hunts. That's killing world bosses, basically.
Okay.
The Tiger, you need to kill 3,000 A ranks and 2,000 S ranks.
Holy
S
shit.
ranks being the brutal part. Because they're
Yeah.
often pretty difficult and weird to spawn. I know there are some S ranks that to get them to spawn, you need to go to their spawn location and just die repeatedly. Like over and over and over. Like maybe it'll spawn at some point. There's others that you need to go to their spawn location and eat food or drink, and they might show up, or maybe you need to catch a particular fish, or maybe it just has to be during nights of the full moon. Like it sounds like a joke, but
Damn.
that's how a lot of these are. So some of them are kind of pain in the ass.
Sure, but some of these
requires you
are.
to kill 2,000 A rank elite marks and 1,000 S rank elite marks.
It does look
which are
badass, though.
zones. Rasumi, who
Is that,
who
like-
told-
Is this like a Monster Hunter crossover? It feels that way. It looks
they
like a
went
Monster Hunter
hard for
world
like 6
look.
months to get these mounts.
6
I was
months,
like,
damn.
When you say you went hard, what does that entail? And they said S ranks can take up to 132 hours to respawn. You had 3 copies per zone at Shadowbringer's launch and 6 servers with world travel. So you could get 50 realistically every 3 days, and per week something like 100. So
Holy
50
shit.
S ranks every 3 days or so for 6 months. They said they were in a Discord server for hunts and 4 different link shells to make sure they get all the call outs to be alerted when there's a hunt.
God
or kill.
damn.
And I
This
do
is
suggest you
nuts
join
to me.
those. I know Phaloop has been.
This is
amazing
absolutely
resource for
nuts to
this,
me.
So I'll put the links to that below. Basically, if
Wow.
you want these mounts, the hunt is going to become your end game. Like that's how you got to earn your stripes. The Mentor Pegasus mount, or the Astrope. This requires 2,000 Mentor roulettes. Now that is a
1,000?
roulette that you can get access to if you're a PvE mentor, which means you've gotten 1,500 commendations, you've done 1,000 duties, and you have finished Crystarium role quests as a tank, a healer, and a DPS job.
Wow.
You
I
also
had
need
no
to have
idea.
completed every duty in the game, including extreme trials, as any of those can pop up in your mentor roulette, with some exceptions being ultimate, savage, current expansion extreme trials, and binding coils.
Okay.
So the idea behind the mentor roulette is to send mentors into groups where their
Sprouts.
guidance and advice would be needed most. So like groups of sprouts
Yeah.
who maybe they're struggling, maybe they just need someone there to give them a little help, right?
Right.
AKA Serene on Reddit said of her experience getting this mount, people generally didn't want advice, didn't listen to advice if given, and sometimes even responded with hostility to tips, even if they were performing very poorly. So I learned to, most of the time, silently endure if duties weren't going well. Well, I do that
Damn.
already, and I'm not even doing the mentor roulette. But they did say that in synced extreme fights, people were more receptive to advice. So
Okay.
I guess getting
Rama.
ass beat by a grandpa of the cabbage people, like teach
Of
a
the
little
cabbage
lesson in
people.
humility. Yeah, they said that synced extremes counted for about 10% of the duties they completed towards their astrope amount. They said it always took a lot of time and effort and typically ran for the full 60 minutes. My clear rate for synced extremes was pretty decent. I took the time to type out and teach the fight mechanics almost every time I got queued into an extreme, and I would try to coach players who were struggling but played a crucial role in the fight. Many, if not most teams, were pretty receptive and understanding about needing to respect the mechanics. However, there were also many lost causes, times where no amount of instruction or guidance would be sufficient to get a team.
Holy shit.
Now, I asked Rasumi here about
This is
their
like
experience getting
next
this mount.
level.
And they said, I set aside like 5 months and did it all day until I was done. On good days, I got around 60 to 80 roulettes, and on bad days, I got like 10. It really depends on the content you get on that day.
I'm not doing this. This is too much.
And told me that they had been doing it more casually, like 5 or 10 times a week. Sariva said, I only went in mentor roulette if I'm in a daddy mood.
Daddy mood?
Morble, the Blue Mage mount. So to get
Oh,
this one,
shit.
you must be in a fully Blue Mage group with Silence Echo turned on and Undersized Party turned off. You
Okay.
have to do Binding Coil of Bahamut turn 5, Second Coil of Bahamut turn 4, Final Coil of Bahamut turn 4, then in Alexander, Burden of the Father Savage, Burden of the
Whoa.
Son Savage, and Soul of the Creator Savage.
I've only watched some of these, some of the fights, the coil for sure, and then Burden of the Father, but
it's always
this
cool
is
because it will
nuts.
always require effort. I asked my friend Laramian, who you see
This
here
is
on the video,
badass.
how they would rate the difficulty of these Blue Mage raids compared to doing the raid normally on Savage, and they said that in general, the Blue Mage Savages are a bit easier for Blue Mages as we can cheat mechanics.
Sure.
It can vary. I said, if it's not that bad, then why don't we see more people doing it? Like,
Because Blue Mage is just so...
group. And they said, yeah, you need to go out and hunt down a group for it in Discord.
Yeah.
I have recently seen a small trend of people gathering up in Party Finder, but they wait a long time.
Right,
Because
okay.
of the time before Endwalker, there may be more Blue Mages doing it. The legacy stuff, that includes the legacy tattoo, the legacy Gubu, or the legacy Chocobo. So any proof that you played the game when it was ass. When everybody
Yeah,
was
when it
like,
was
"Don't play that
bad.
game. It's not a good game." You were like, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to play that game anyway.
Yeah, you can't get it anymore,
now
can you?
have cool stuff to show for it. According to this post on the FF14 subreddit, the game actually punished players who put any effort into playing it. If you earned too much XP, you got fatigue, and basically you earned less and less XP
What?
until you earned 0. The only thing you could do was stop playing the game you paid for.
What the fuck?
And was paying monthly for on top of that. The game actually punished you for playing it, which is just impressive. So the mount, the tattoo, and
That's
the logo are
insane.
impressive because you've had to put up
With
an
some
impressive amount of
bullshit.
bullshit. I asked my friend here
Yeah.
to tell me what 1.0 was like, and they said, I can't describe how many f***ing giant enemy crabs I killed in La Noscia to finally get high enough to go to Karthus. And then I went there, and it was f***ing empty. Like, literally nothing there. Just green hills and forests with occasional mobs. There were like
That's
2 or 3
crazy.
hamlets across this gigantic map, and that's it. No quests, no nothing. The Legacy Chocobo is ultra rare because you had to not only play 1.0, but you had to pay for 90 days, like have a 3-month sub that was active before the game ended, like before the end of 1.0. They basically
What?
promised people a Chocobo that they would be able to ride after the game came back. But now that the game is good, how prestigious is it to have this ultra rare 1.0 loot? Well, one person actually cried
The
on Reddit.
chocobo.
I thought this post was really funny. They said, jealousy of legacy players is making me not want to play. Does anyone else feel the same? Does anyone have advice or a different way to think about it?
Jesus. Yeah,
Like,
she's laughing.
imagine having something on your character that somebody else wanted so bad that they're ready to uninstall the game. Like, they're just not even
I
enjoying
mean,
the
the
game anymore
Gobu
because all they can
is
think about is
badass.
that
I
thing
think
that you have.
I think the problem with the chocobo is I don't think enough people get it. I think that mount collectors and people who care about that will do it, but I think like A, we have so many sprouts, and B, it's almost feels like it's not as discernible as it could possibly be. The tattoo is a very interesting thing. Because there are a lot of glamours that don't allow for you to show that, but I think the tattoo is interesting and the Gobu mount for sure.
Like, wow.
Look at those
A
teeth.
mansion in a good spot. Honestly, getting a house at all is
Huh.
a pretty big achievement in the current situation with housing.
But a
But
mansion?
getting a large house in a good spot, that is a rare opportunity. That's a door that doesn't open every day. But what is
Sure.
a good spot? Well, not facing any other houses. I would think like on top of a cliff, maybe
Sure.
overlooking having a nice view.
This is a
Because
great
honestly, game
house.
players are always like, we need neighborhoods so we can be around other players' houses.
You don't want to be around
Okay,
anybody.
well, where's your house? Well, not in front of anyone else's house. They're gonna ruin it.
Right.
My view. So right now, yeah, because the housing system is terrible and there's nowhere near enough supply for the demand, it's extremely hard to get a house at all, as
Sure.
I said. I personally never seen a large house plot for sale ever, except like maybe when the residential district is brand new. So I think the people with the large plots probably got them when the ward opened, or they were
Right.
insanely lucky. Now, they did confirm that in Endwalker they will be adding a lottery system, which, believe it or not, the lottery will be more fair. If that gives you an idea of just how jacked the current system is.
I actually like the lottery system. As someone who is coming to this game so much later than a lot of the players who have been doing it for so long, housing is one thing I want. Now, I'll be the first one to say, don't have enough gil to purchase a house and then still feel comfortable with my amount of money. That's a personal issue. I'm working on crafters right now. However, you can get an apartment for 500k gil, not too shabby. But like, I want a Kugane house. That's where I want to be, and I'm hoping that when people move plots so that they can go be in Ishgard, some open up, but I think the lottery system is a fair way. Because I don't have the time to spend, 4 to 12 hours a day spamming a button, hoping that the plot opens up without any knowledge of whether or not it's going to. That just seems like a waste.
If you really want a large house right now, I would suggest go to a mansion that's owned by an FC and just knock on the door and ask if Daddy Warbucks will adopt you. The Gil Sync mounts, there are two of them. The 50 million Gil mount.
50 million?
Mikoshi, and the 25 million Gil mount, the Golden Vessel of Ranka.
25
Now,
million, holy
said
shit.
They rarely use the Ranka one because it's
Yeah.
less fancy, but people love the Gilded Mikoshi
Yeah,
mount,
that's
and
awesome.
Positive comments on it all the time. I even got invited to a G-Pose session once to provide the confetti for a party picture. They said that
It's
they
pretty
had
cool.
made a lot of gil, being an early adopter to the Bozja content, selling tons of fragments,
smart.
and also selling mounts and minions from Unreal Trials.
That makes sense.
I asked, did it break the bank for you to buy it? Or was this like pocket change for you?
Right. I
I
mean,
basically asked, like, are you rich? And they said buying both mounts took away like 30% of my total wealth.
30%. 30%. 50 million for this mount, 25 million for the other one. That's 75 million. 1/3 of that. So 3 times 75, top of your head, 225. They had 225 million gil. I've got 4. I'm slacking, dude. I'm fucking
So
slacking.
I did not need to eat stale bread. The Pteranodon mount. This is from an absurd amount of crafting and gathering in the firmament of Ishgard. For a while, this mount was so rare, I had to go to a JP server to find the only person that I knew of who had the mount
Okay.
for my mount video. The Pteranodon requires 500,000 points towards your Skyward score on every single crafter and gatherer.
Holy
job.
shit.
A friend of mine, Vlithra, has gotten it and told me that it was probably about 3 months of grinding. The crafting part honestly aren't that bad, they said. It's the gathering part that takes time.
Right.
And I asked, how many hours a day? Like,
Yeah, be honest.
this is an estimate, but I'd say around 550 to 650 hours. So around 6 to 7 hours a day.
Just gathering.
I think that with the passing of time, more people have been able to get this mount.
Sure.
But it's still one of the rarest ones. Like if we're looking at FXV Collect, it's beat only by mounts that are unobtainable. I mean, it represents this colossal achievement, and that's why it's really cool. For me, though, I don't really craft or gather hardcore. So if I were to get it, I guess my playstyle would have to
completely change.
drastically change.
I hated it. Oh my god, I hated it so much. I love it though because it's who she is as a person. Oh my god. Okay, realistically, maybe you feel differently. I don't think that mount was worth it. That mount, it's cool that you can flex because it's like, hey, I got a pterodactyl, but it was kind of ugly and boring.
So those are the 10 sort of categories of things
Okay.
that I think are most impressive to
Damn.
flex with in Policy 14. Do you have any of these? Are there any things that you think I should have included on this list that I did
Sure.
not? And why do you think that? Because I thought through this very carefully, you know, considering all the factors that I mentioned at the start of the video.
Right.
It has to have long-lasting prestige. It has to be not just rare, but also notable, recognizable. You know?
Right.
So let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Let me know if maybe you have tips for other people that are going for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free by clicking the subscribe button.
Yep.
Or by sharing this video with your fellow Warriors of Light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Okay. Tight. So, yeah. Tia. Okay, hold on. So, based on this list, that gold sync mount, that 50 million guild, that's a huge goal. I will buy that if I ever get over 100 million. My word is my bond. I'm doing that. The deep dungeon one, I think that one's pretty interesting. I recently tried to do a all the way up one with a full group of Heaven on High. We got to floor 81, and we had such a bad thunderstorm outside of our house that my internet was dropped. So I feel really bad for my group because we got to 81. Like I was there for like 3 hours, man. Like it was tough. I feel really bad for those guys. I think that one was just okay. I don't like the title. Palace of the Dead, however, 200 levels. Dude, that Necromancer title is badass. I might do that. Ultimate, for sure, got to do. Okay, so I want to see. We're gonna see the Epic of Alexander, Ultimate Weapons. There we go. They got it. Who's this? Of course, Desperius has a guide. Why wouldn't you? Thanks, buddy. All right. Does he have chapters? No. Fuck. Oh. Is that it? Is this it? I think that's it. Yeah, this is it for sure. Okay, hold on. Okay. Whoa, music. Jesus, blow me out, bro. I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. Oh my god. That was awesome. I'm like looking at it on my screen right now still, and it's just so beautiful. Love the cogwheels, because Time Mage is something that I genuinely think is on the horizon. Not yet, but after Endwalker, I could totally see Time Mage being somewhere that they go. Just because it's in other games. Let's not get distracted. What did you think was most prestigious on that list? You know, I think for sure there are a lot of things in there that I'm like blown away by. Like the PvP loot, I wish that I had an opportunity to get some of that stuff. I just wasn't playing at the time. The hunt stuff, oh my god, that's way too much. Like 2,000 A or S rank clears and 3,000 A rank clears, like that is insane to me, and that's just so crazy. The mentor mount, anybody who's got that, props to you, man. I gotta say, like, that is absolutely nuts. And honestly, I'm about to go deep dive down that Reddit thread that she had, which I'm hoping that she posted a link, because that's just fucking nuts to me. So yeah, she did. Thank God. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Like I said in my last video that is also being posted today, I'm not going to do an outro because I've been gone so long. If you want to subscribe, go for it. If not, take care. Peace.